Wieden helped the shoe company rebrand as Nike, expand beyond running shoes, and ultimately coined the immortal tagline, "Just do it." Sidebar: Dan Wieden came up with the tagline after being inspired by the convicted murderer Gary Gilmore, whose last words were, "Let's do it." He was promptly executed by a firing squad.
Put that coffee down.
Creators are leaders. Be careful what kind of leaders you're producing here.
Helen, we're both in sales. Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman.
They realized that to be in power, you didn't need guns or money or even numbers. You just needed the will to do what the other guy wouldn't.
I'm not leaving. The show goes on.
Well, hello there, friend. Welcome back to the Construction Leadership Podcast, where we deliver ideas and insights from leaders across the construction industry every single week to help you lead more effectively. This episode is brought to you by our good friends at Capital One Trade Credit. When it comes to limiting your risk and offering finances to help you grow your business, you, my friend, are going to want to check out Capital One Trade Credit. So two legends expired in the last 30 days or so. Herb Kohler Jr. of Kohler faucets fame and Dan Wieden of Wieden and Kennedy, famous for being Nike's ad agency for the better part of the last 5 decades. And there's a common thread that links these two individuals, of which the strands are independent thinking, intellectual humility, and intentionally bringing joy to the workplace. Herbert V. Kohler Jr., the third generation to lead the global Kohler brand, initially reacted like many grandchildren of successful founders do. He licked clean the silver spoon in his mouth, then spit it on the ground and gave his family the middle finger. The old adage comes to mind: the first generation starts it, the second generation grows it, the third generation feels entitled to it and blows it. Well, Herb Kohler Jr. seemed to embody that fate in his early life. He rebelled in high school and dropped out of Yale, his father's alma mater, to write poetry. That's right. He dropped out of Yale to write poetry. Eventually, he returned to the flock, though, and began working his way up the privately held firm's corporate ladder. Within a decade, Herb was CEO. He was 33 years old. Now, like many young leaders at the helm of family firms, Herb had ideas to differentiate the brand and himself. He wanted to acquire luxury resorts and build golf courses. That's right, a faucet brand wanted to build golf courses. His board of directors pushed back. Unrelated product line extensions, they yelped, will dilute the brand. Herb noted the lack of logical relationship between plumbing fixtures and generators, and yet Kohler had been selling both lines profitably for 50 years. Herb also noted Kohler entered the hotel business 50 years earlier when it built the American Club in 1918. It was an adult dormitory for immigrant Kohler employees that maintained a bar, bowling alley, and a barber shop. Refurbished under Herb Kohler Jr., the American Club opened as a 5-star resort in 1981. Now, what did they do for the plumbing fixtures at each one of the 241 rooms? Yep, each one features a unique collection of Kohler plumbing products. See, Herb was saying? That's how luxury resorts and plumbing products go together. Herb then acquired the Old Course Hotel at St. Andrews in Scotland as he inched towards his dream of owning and operating golf courses. And golf was a harder sell for Herb. His board refused to invest in golf courses twice. Finally approved the third time, Black Wolf Run opened in 1981, and it was recognized as an exceptional regional course. Kohler's second course, Whistling Straits, complete with a flock of imported Scottish black-faced sheep. That's right, he imported sheep from Scotland. Well, that opened in 1998 on the shores of Lake Michigan, and it was recognized as an exceptional international course. And now, Whistling Straits has hosted 3 PGA Championship majors and the Ryder Cup. Herb Kohler's idea of investing in luxury resorts and golf courses did the seemingly impossible. It made Sheboygan County, Wisconsin, a global golf destination. And listen, I've been to Milwaukee and then I've driven north. There's no reason that should be an international golf destination, and yet it is. Why? Herb Kohler Jr. In 1972, when Herb took over, Kohler had revenues of $160 million. More than 50 acquisitions later, Kohler had revenues of more than $6 billion when Herb stepped down as CEO in 2015. Sometimes, as it turns out, these crazy ideas of the entitled third-generation leaders, well, they work out reasonably well. Dan Wieden was born in 1945. He worked for, and was fired from, the marketing team at Georgia Pacific before connecting with David Kennedy and opening up their own ad agency in Portland, Oregon. Their first client was a floundering shoe company named Blue Ribbon Sports. Wieden helped the shoe company rebrand as Nike, expand beyond running shoes, and ultimately coined the immortal tagline, "Just do it." Sidebar: Dan Wieden came up with the tagline after being inspired, well, inspired is not the right word, but I'll explain, by the convicted murderer Gary Gilmore, whose last words were, "Let's do it." He was promptly executed by a firing squad. That's right. The sidebar to the sidebar is in 1977 in the US, we were still killing murderers by a firing squad. Ah, yes, the good old days. Wieden and Kennedy remains the largest independently owned ad agency in the world with more than 1,000 employees, generating more than $230 million in revenue. Dan Wieden attributed his firm's success to hiring, quote unquote, oddballs and misfits, and then intentionally layering on equal parts safety and pressure. I think people need to feel safe, but still under pressure in some weird way, Wieden explained of his management style. There needs to be a healthy pressure, while they feel that you are still rooting for them to succeed. Wieden constantly encouraged his 1,000+ employees to, quote, walk in stupid every morning, which is fantastic. He said, the minute you think you know, the minute you go, oh yeah, we've been here before, no sense reinventing the wheel this time, you stop learning, you stop questioning, and you start believing in your own wisdom, and you do that, and you're dead. Now, I'm not sure I'm willing to put this on our website under core values, but the idea to walk in stupid every morning and not think that you've arrived and not think that you know how to do it and not think that you can instantly jump in to solve a customer's problem, I think that's really helpful. Stay curious, continue asking questions. That's what I'd take away from this idea to, quote, walk in stupid every morning. And I can tell you firsthand, some days it's easier than others to do just that. Now, this mindset surely guided the growth of both Nike and Wieden and Kennedy for more than 50 years. And I think it should serve as a reminder to actively identify the gazelle firms in your market. Gazelles are those companies with ambitious and motivated leaders who grow significantly faster than the overall market. And once you identify these gazelles, you want to build unshakable alliances with them to grow their firm even faster and yours. Now, I don't know if Dan Wieden wrote these words from a 1992 Nike ad featuring running back Barry Sanders from Oklahoma State University, but the ad has moved from my childhood bedroom to my college dorm room, and it has stayed with me to this day as it hangs in my office and the bedrooms of my 2 sons. And it reads, too often we are scared of what we might not be able to do, scared of what people might think if we tried. We let our fears stand in the way of our hopes. We say no when we want to say yes. We sit quietly when we want to scream. And we shout with the others when we should keep our mouths shut. Why? After all, we do only go around once. There's really no time to be afraid. So stop. Try something you've never tried. Risk it. Enter a triathlon. Write a letter to the editor. Demand a raise. Call winners at the toughest court. Throw away your television. Bicycle across the United States. Try bobsledding. Try anything. Speak out against the designated hitter. Travel to a country where you don't speak the language. Patent something. Call her. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Just do it. I don't know about you, but reading that still has the hairs stand up on my arm, and it does every time I read it. And if you're interested in hearing my son read that from an episode 3 years ago, you can check out episode 84, Nike's Secret Weapon. So rest in peace, Herb Kohler and Dan Wieden, and for all the misfits and all the oddballs and all of you who walk in stupid every morning and your third generation leaders that have some crazy ideas that might just make you billionaires. Keep fighting, keep pushing. Any new idea that's worth its salt had to be forced down people's throat. So stay with it. That's all I've got for you today. As always, thank you for listening. Thanks to my friends at Capital One Trade Credit for bringing this to you. And we're going to close out like we always do. You, my friend, are owed nothing. Deliver value first. Finish this week strong.